The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College. Welcome to Duck Insider. Duck Insider. On the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
He's got the first down and gone. It's over, baby. Duck fans start celebrating the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Crossover to the bucket for two. Oregon wins it. The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
Goes inside, right hand, and scores and fouls. Ionescu with 7. 3 out top. Good! Final four!
Insider. This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Now, here's your host, Joey Mack.
Thank you and welcome inside the Casanova Center studio. A lot to unpack in an unprecedented time, not just for sports, but for something that is bigger than sports right now. We're going to go through all the details as it pertains to Oregon, the university, and the athletic department, and beyond, even in the state, on the show today, and we'll continue to do so over the next couple weeks, I'm sure. Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullins is going to join us here in just a moment. We are going to start, though, with this is bigger than sports. It's a very fluid situation, and this is the news as of the 1 o'clock hour. We know that there are a lot of affiliate stations throughout the Oregon Sports Network that pick up our broadcast later in the day. So this is the news as of the 1 o'clock hour, and as we have all seen, I think, in the last maybe 72 hours, that things are moving at about an hour per minute right now. We begin with the latest from Oregon Athletics, a statement on the COVID-19 coronavirus. The evolving situation with the COVID-19 coronavirus is being monitored diligently by the University of Oregon Department of Athletics in consultation with university officials. Today, UO Athletics is placing a moratorium on all team activities through Sunday, March 29th. Oregon Athletics will continue to monitor this ongoing situation with university officials and public health agencies. For more information on COVID-19 and the university's efforts, please visit the following UO webpage, uoregon.edu/coronavirus. That statement coming from Oregon Athletics today. I'm Joey Mack, and we now welcome Rob Mullins, Oregon Athletic Director, inside the studio. Rob, this is obviously an unprecedented situation. First, just how do you handle something like this? What's your reaction to all of it?
Well, I mean, obviously, we want to make sure that the health and safety of our community remains the highest priority, and we're fortunate here at the university in Lane County and in the state to have outstanding leadership on campus through the incident management team here at UO that's been assembled for some time, following the direction of the Oregon Health Authority and Lane County Public Health. So we're getting a lot of good information and guidance from the experts on the matter. And, for us, it's just to provide information and make decisions that are in the best interest of the health and safety of our student athletes, our coaches, our staff, and then thus our community as well.
And for the sports conversation, let's start with that. Some unprecedented stuff with the cancellation of NCAA championships, the men's and women's basketball tournaments, the first that come to mind, but then also through the spring. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, this is unprecedented, right? And, the challenge is we don't know what we don't know right now. Right. And again, you just have to trust in that the experts are together making the best decisions, and I do trust that they are making those best decisions for the health and safety of our community. And while I know some folks are disappointed, a lot goes in. Our student athletes contribute a lot, but I think everybody needs to be understanding that the health and safety is the utmost importance right now.
A lot to unpack with it, and again, the safety of the student athletes is always paramount. Safety of the coaches, staff, everybody. That's why these decisions are being made. One of the things you and I talked about right before we went on the air here is the Pac-12. And just some clarity on competition, what's going to happen now over the next few weeks and maybe the next couple months.
Right. Well, obviously the men's basketball championships were canceled, and we were all sent home, and then all other competitions are suspended until further notice. So obviously when something like this happens, there's several conference calls, all sorts of meetings, and as you mentioned at the top, we're getting briefings and updates. Really, it feels by the minute at times. I certainly felt that way yesterday, and that way this morning. So things continue to evolve, whether it's statements from the NCAA, Pac-12 taking position. So there's the one good thing is there's a lot of smart people and a lot of good communication.
There's a lot to unpack. One of the things that everybody's asked me about already is what about eligibility for spring athletes? The NCAA today did offer some clarity on that.
They did offer some clarity, and I'm going to refer to the memo because it's a little bit technical, but at least initially, they're going to put in a process to evaluate the spring sports. I think that'll be first, and I'm sure there'll be some conversation about the winter sports as well, particularly the basketballs and the wrestlings and the tracks, indoor tracks, who didn't get to compete in the championship, even though they competed the majority of or all of their regular season. So, again, the council coordination committee at the NCAA did say that they thought it would be appropriate to grant relief, but how all that works, there's a lot of moving pieces to this. There's scholarship limits, there's roster limits.
Right.
There's committees working around the clock to try to figure that out. But it does sound, at least initially for spring sports, like there's going to be some sort of relief for that year of eligibility. And I'm sure that conversation will evolve into the winter sports.
One other thing to talk about, and some of the news first before we kind of unpack some of it, is the dead period for recruiting now that the NCAA, that's at the national level.
Yeah, so if you were following the news yesterday, you saw, a sequence of conferences first cancel their tournament and then start looking at other events, and then the topic of recruiting became next. And the NCAA, through conversations with all the commissioners, I'm sure, came to a point where they just initiated a dead period till at least April 15th to allow everybody to pause. No on-campus recruiting, no off-campus recruiting till at least April 15th.
Zeroing in on Oregon now, the moratorium for the next couple weeks through the 29th. What led to that decision, and how do you go about doing something like this?
Yeah, again, we're looking at the safety of our student athletes first and foremost, and thus our extended community, because they're out as members of that community. And again, we just wanted to hit pause. We have spring break coming up. And we thought it was important to make sure that they get through finals under the university's direction, and that they have our opportunity, again, to just pause for us to make sure that we're making good decisions for the long term.
uoregon.edu/coronavirus for more information. The U of O going to do constant updates. And remember, it was going to be finals week next week. Those are all being offered remotely for students. Spring break and then returning the first 3 weeks are going to be remote for the University of Oregon for education. So this is bigger than just athletics as we talk here about athletics. I know one question that a lot of fans have had, and this hasn't changed over the last 48 hours. One of the few things that hasn't changed over the last 48 hours is the refund policy for fans. You can find more info on that on Goducks.com, but it's just the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do, and we've sent a mass communication. Again, I would encourage you to go to Goducks.com where all that's laid out, or if you have questions, you can certainly call the ticket office.
Yeah, and we'll go through it on more detail coming up. So what now? What do we do now moving forward, and what does someone like you do now moving forward?
Well, obviously we're having very regular meetings and conversations at the local level, at the conference level, and even some at the national level to continue to monitor this. It's a daily, almost an hourly monitoring as to how things are evolving. And a lot of our things are no later than, or at least until, and so that lends itself to continuous monitoring to determine what are the next best steps. And all along we're making sure that our facilities are clean, that we have the hand sanitizers out. We're educating our staff and student athletes. We'll continue to do all those things.
And we feel for the seniors on a more emotional and personal level, don't you?
Yeah, no doubt. Obviously, these young people put an awful lot into this opportunity. And if you're a senior, in a perfect year, your college career always comes to an abrupt end. Mm-hmm. It just does. When you go in a locker room and look at our team, let's take our men's basketball Final Four, an incredible journey. But when they lost that game, that locker room, it always comes to an abrupt end.
Yeah.
And this one just came out of nowhere, and no one would have ever expected this. And so it was an abrupt end in a way that no one anticipated.
Yeah, and it's not just at Oregon. It's going to be a what if around a lot of things. I said to somebody the other day that you always want to win the last game. Well, a lot of teams this year won the last game. It's going to just feel odd moving forward. Well, Rob, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and chat. Is there anything else that you want to get out there? I'm going to go through everything we kind of hit on in much greater detail over the next 50 minutes or so, but anything else?
Yeah, just a pledge that we'll continue to communicate with the latest information that we have. We just ask for everybody's understanding. And that this is a unique time, and we're just trying to solve it as best we can, and things are very fluid and rapidly changing.
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date. Our plan is to keep rolling with the show here today, and probably next week as well. We'll keep rolling. There's going to be a lot of updates, hopefully positive ones, not just around Oregon athletics, but Pac-12, NCAA, and frankly around the entire world. So thank you for taking the time. I know you're busy.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it. We're going to get a quick timeout. When we come back, We'll go through a number of things, unpack everything that Rob and I just talked about, and all details. I'll do my best to answer your questions on the Facebook stream and on the Twitter stream as best I can. Stick with us on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear savvy shoppers, ready, set, go, and save big on a new Toyota like RAV4, Camry, and Tacoma right now. Visit your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com for more information. See you soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Every great community has its own rhythm. And beat by beat, note by note, when you bank at On Point Community Credit Union, you play your part. Because On Point is about more than great banking. From financial education to supporting local schools, we invest our time, money, and energy to partner with local organizations that foster health and knowledge for everyone who calls this place home. And together, there's nothing we can't do. So join in. We're On Point Community Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear savvy shoppers, ready, set, go, and save big on a new Toyota like RAV4, Camry, and Tacoma right now. Visit your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com for more information. See you soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Learfield IMG College.
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Today, millions of people all across America are building a life in recovery from addiction and mental illness, helping themselves
and helping each other, with friends, family, and community lending their strength and support.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
Together, we are stronger.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders, for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack. Thanks for joining us today. Rob Mullins, I very much appreciate Rob taking the time to come on because you know he's getting emails, texts, calls from coaches, other administrators, commissioners, everything. And I know that it's a lot for him to take 10 minutes out of his day to come on and chat with us, so I very much appreciate Rob doing so. Look, everybody, it would be disingenuous for me to sit here and say that doing this show is going to be fun and easy today. It's not. I feel for these student athletes, not just at Oregon, but across the entire country, who had their seasons abruptly end, as Rob mentioned. And frankly, I feel for them every year. But this one was just so fast-moving. The way that it devolved, if you will, around the sporting landscape, it changed very, very quickly. For these seniors, I feel very, very, very bad. Guys like Peyton Pritchard, who didn't get his final NCAA tournament. Shakur Juiston and Anthony Mathis came here as graduate transfers to play in the Pac-12 and NCAA tournament. Those guys had it end too quickly for them. For Sabrina Ionescu, Ruthie Hebard, Satu Sabali, Mignon Moore, they wanted to play in the NCAA tournament again. They said unfinished business. They felt like they had a great chance of winning the national championship. And now it looks like we won't know, which is heartbreaking. Just too abrupt of an end for these student athletes. And I got to say, I think that they, myself, other Oregon fans, very much appreciate the support from the fan base. And in talking with these student athletes, I think that they very much appreciate all the fans who are just thinking of them and just thinking of what's going on right now, because it was too abrupt of an end. And then in spring sports, we're going to see what happens. The biggest question that I've been asked is what's going to happen with eligibility. I want to defer to the statement. You heard Rob Mullins talking about it. Let's bring that up for those of you who are watching on the screen. The NCAA said today, council leadership agreed that eligibility relief is appropriate for all Division I student athletes who participated in spring sports. Details of eligibility relief will be finalized at a later time. Additional issues with the NCAA rules must be addressed, and appropriate governance bodies will work through those in the coming days and weeks. That's the NCAA giving a COVID-19 update from the Division I Council Coordination Committee. Again, this is all happening rapidly, and as you heard Rob Mullins mention, there's still some details to be sorted out. Will this also extend to winter sports? We don't know that yet. That's going to be a decision for the NCAA to discuss, and I think that they're going to be listening to people like Rob Mullins and coaches, and there's a lot of influencers that are going to have a say in this. The important thing is that for spring athletes, for example, baseball, softball, lacrosse, there's so many that this is going to affect. There's a lot of people that are going to be impacted, I should say, by this. As a result, that's going to be a hard decision for a lot of student athletes to make. But the nice thing is the NCAA is considering the welfare of the student athletes, and moving forward, there's going to be more clarity on what it means for the eligibility relief. But one thought, just to give everybody an example, for somebody like Kenyon Yovan, who, by the way, I feel terrible for Kenyon Yovan, has the season taken away from him last year by an injury. He has the season taken away from him this year by a virus. Does somebody like Kenyon Yovan say, I'd like to come back, have one extra year? However the NCAA sorts that out, he'd have that extra year of eligibility. Gabe Matthews from Oregon baseball, a similar conversation. A softball athlete like Haley Cruz. All of those student athletes are at least going to see some relief. Does it extend to the winter sports? Do athletes like Peyton Pritchard, Shakur Juice, Anthony Mathis have the opportunity to come back without roster limits, I should say? If you fit a certain criteria, like the athletes that I just mentioned, does the NCAA allow them to come back in winter sports as well? We will find that out. But for spring sports, it's a good thing that there is going to be relief moving forward. And again, the University of Oregon is operating remotely for the first 3 weeks of spring term for students following spring break. Next week is finals week. This is the Friday of Dead Week, considered week 10 in the winter quarter. The Ducks will then have spring break, and then it was supposed to be the start of spring term. But the first 3 weeks are going to be done remotely, remote learning with modern technology. It's actually a wonderful thing. And then we'll see. The U of O has constant updates coming on uoregon.edu/coronavirus. Again, an unprecedented time. This is the latest information that we have as of 1/17. One of the biggest questions that I'm seeing asked in the Facebook stream is what's going to happen with team activities. So what the University of Oregon Athletic Department is doing, there is a moratorium on all team activities through Sunday, March 29th. That means that after that date, we could see some return to normalcy around the University of Oregon. And what exactly that means, we don't know yet. Basically, as it pertains to spring sports, practice will halt for the next 2 weeks. However, for team activities such as spring football, the Ducks were scheduled to practice in Hillsboro tomorrow. That is canceled. The Ducks will not practice for spring football, and then initially they were supposed to take the next 2 weeks off for finals and spring break. Still to be determined what happens after that March 29th moratorium for Oregon team events and athletics. I see one question coming in from Jeffrey. How does this affect the spring game? I think it's too early to say that. We don't know yet if there is going to be a change to the spring game, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think that the Ducks are going to consider options, as Rob Mullins said, with university officials, health officials, to determine what the best course of action is. The Ducks also, I think it's important to note that there is a recruiting dead period. That statement also coming from the NCAA today. I want to show it for those of you who are watching the show live in the 1 o'clock hour on Facebook and Twitter. Recruiting has been suspended by the NCAA. That's at the national level. The council leadership put in place an immediate ban on in-person recruiting for Division I coaches. Additionally, the group advised schools to suspend any official and unofficial visits to campus from prospective student-athletes. This recruiting dead period will be in place until at least April 15th, at which time the Division I Council Coordination Committee will evaluate. Telephone calls and written correspondence are allowed during dead periods. That's the NCAA Division I Council Coordination Committee talking about a dead period in recruiting that is now in place until at least April 15th. It means no in-person, no external, and we've seen that from more than just the NCAA. For example, NFL teams are pulling scouts off the road, which, by the way, Pro Day at the University of Oregon was yesterday. We will talk about that. I am going to do my best to update on everything that is happening in a very fluid situation as it pertains to the coronavirus and athletics, but also we still are going to talk about sports as best we can. It is Duck Insider after all, and there are some student athletes, former student athletes now, that we heard from yesterday at Pro Day, including Justin Herbert, Juwan Johnson, and Lamar Winston Jr., who both had, I thought, some very poignant things to say about, one, the NFL career and potential for those guys, but also what it means to current NCAA athletes moving forward. Again, if you're just joining us, a moratorium has been placed on University of Oregon team activities through Sunday, March 29th. Oregon Athletics will continue to monitor the ongoing situation with university officials and public health agencies, but the current plan for us is to continue, and frankly, I want to spend the next week thanking these seniors. We're going to probably have shows completely dedicated to Peyton Pritchard, Sabrina Ionescu, Ruthie Hebert, and frankly, why not? In fact, Scott Phillips and I talked about this last night. One of the things that we often do well, actually, we've done this as long as I've been the host of Duck Insider. We'll do a season recap package at the end of the year. Well, why not do that for Oregon football next week? Why not do that for men's basketball next week and women's basketball next week as a chance to tip our caps and say thank you to them? So we're going to do that now moving forward. I think that it's important to do so. What the U of O action plan is, it's a fluid situation. I don't have an answer to that question yet. Again, everybody asking about what's going to happen for the NCAA granting a waiver. As Rob Mullins said, there's going to be a lot of conversation about how they implement the eligibility for spring athletes that are affected by this. We will see moving forward. I do also want to go through the ticket refund and exchange information for Oregon athletic events because the Pac-12 has suspended play until further notice. That means that it's not just the moratorium on team activities here at the University of Oregon Athletic Department until March 29th, but for the Pac-12, things are suspended until further notice, which means, for example, the baseball series at UCLA will not take place this weekend. Completely not take place. Canceled for the next at least few weeks, I would expect, for Pac-12 play. Ticket refund and exchange information for those home events. And all the details are on GoDucks.com. You can find it there if you miss this, you come in late, or if you need a little bit of clarification. Single game ticket purchasers for lacrosse, acrobatics and tumbling, baseball, and softball, including all tickets purchased for the originally scheduled March 18th exhibition versus USA Softball, which has been postponed, will automatically receive a credit equal to their amount of purchase on their account, which could be applied toward any future Oregon Athletics ticket purchase this year or in the 20 to 21 athletic year. Single game purchasers preferring a refund rather than a credit may fill out a ticket refund form that you can find on GoDucks.com. Season ticket holders will also receive credit for the number of games restricted, and more information will be communicated as the number of games impacted becomes available. That full statement on ticket refund and exchange information is available on GoDucks.com. GoDucks.com will be constantly updated. Rob Mosley in the office adjacent from ours will be updating GoDucks.com, and we will still provide all the information we can for you on Duck Insider. I do want to say, before we talk about the impact of the NCAA championships through spring being canceled, just how much I want everybody to remember that this is bigger than sports, but I know that sports is also an escape for people. And I think as time moves forward, and frankly, as I think we heal a little bit from the wound of all these cancellations, this show is still going to be about that. That's our plan moving forward. Jeff asking, is the 2 p.m. press conference with Coach Graves and Altman being streamed? I don't think that we're going to have a live stream for Coach Graves and Coach Altman, who are meeting with the media at 2 o'clock. It will, however, be posted on the Goducks.com YouTube channel, which you can access via Goducks.com and the Goducks Game Day app. It will be posted as quickly as possible. The Director of Video Services, Scott Labounty, is at Matthew Knight Arena ready for that press conference. We will have the press conference in its entirety for you on Duck Insider on Monday. That is our current plan moving forward with the show. And I know a lot of our affiliate stations are in the same boat as me with sports topics, conversations. What will we talk about moving forward? Well, there's a lot of thank yous, a lot of information, and then I think, people like Scott Phillips are going to have a lot to say about what we talk about, because Scott's going to be the one that is going to make it all look cool and sound good. That's the plan anyway, moving forward. I'm not putting you on the spot, Scott.
Okay,
Don't worry.
good.
Don't worry.
All
Don't
right,
worry. When we come back, I want to unpack what it means for the NCAA championships being canceled through the spring and what it's going to mean for those student athletes, and also some thank yous are in order for some of those seniors in winter sports. And again, I will do my best to answer all of your Facebook comments and questions via the Goducks Facebook page, and also if you're watching with us on the Oregon Sports Network Twitter account, you can find me on Twitter at JoeyMacUO. I really will do my best to answer anything I can moving forward. And we also, this coming in at about 12:30 today, an update on the 2020 Olympic trials. I do want to talk about that. Stick with us. There's a lot more to unpack on Duck Insider. More after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, it starts with the golf and turns into a lifetime of memories. Shadow Hills Country Club provides a peaceful, natural setting with a standard of excellence in course conditions in any weather that is unsurpassed in the entire Willamette Valley. With a championship course, an expansive practice facility and clubhouse, fine dining, and a swimming pool, Shadow Hills Country Club offers the amenities of a family resort just minutes from downtown Eugene. Shadow Hills Country Club. Call us today.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Millions plan for retirement online. Estimate your future benefits, apply for retirement, and manage your benefits all from the comfort of your home. And give yourself the freedom to do what you want offline. Social Security's online services help put you in control with secure access to your information anytime, anywhere, allowing you to spend more time with family, friends, or simply just enjoying the day. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, and today's show brought to you by the North Fork Public House, voted Eugene's best new restaurant. Eat, drink, explore. Everybody stay healthy out there. This is certainly unprecedented. This is bigger than sports. I really feel for people in crisis management. I grew up the son of a firefighter, and I know what times like this are like for first responders. So I wanted to say good luck with everything, and everybody stay safe out there. Wash your hands. Shoot. I don't even know what else to say. I mean, that's the thing. I'll be honest with everybody. Look, if I can just have a moment to just represent me and not representing the U of O here for a moment in the athletic department, I'm still shell-shocked by this. Is everybody else still shell-shocked by this? I mean, I was standing in – actually, I wasn't even standing. I was sitting. Fortunately, probably a good thing I was sitting. I was sitting watching the Ducks go through their pregame film session on Thursday. So this is Thursday morning. Ducks meet for pregame meal. They meet for their film session, going through the scouting report of how to beat the Beavers. Ducks just finish up. Coach Altman's talking about how it's going to be a really odd thing not having fans in the stands, because remember, it was going to be that there were no fans in the stands at first, just family of players. And then all of a sudden, right as they go in to break their team huddle, and it's always 1, 2, 3 team or 1, 2, 3 family, right as they go in to do that, Director of Basketball Operations Josh Jameson comes in and says, guys, we're canceled. We're not playing in a few hours. And immediately it was like, whoa. Now, look, Oregon wasn't the only team to experience that. But for me, as the broadcaster who is seeing all of this unfold, it was just a shell-shocking experience. It was like a movie. You know, like right before the team breaks the huddle, guys were canceled. And then the team was packing bags and getting ready to fly home. And I flew home yesterday, mostly so that I could, one, be home with my wife, but then two, I thought it was important to sit here and do this show today and update everybody on what's going on and what's going to happen. There's still a lot of information coming. There's still a lot of things to unpack. And we're going to get through it together, because I don't know any other way to do it. Melissa says, thank you for keeping us posted on what's going on. I appreciate everybody sticking with us, and I want to reiterate a little bit of what, and Jeffrey, thanks to you too, I want to reiterate a little bit of what Rob Mullins said earlier, that this is very fluid, and please, everybody, have patience with this, and I think everybody has, which I got to say has been really nice to see. And Devin, that is a poignant comment. I want to read this. It honestly has the same feel as 9/11. Devin, man, I said that yesterday. It was an odd experience. I was in elementary school during 9/11. And I still remember walking into my third grade class, and I still have memories of that. That might be the only thing I actually remember from third grade, which it's a shell-shocking moment. And that's what this felt like. I agree. It felt like that. It was, Quentin Moore, who works with us in Oregon Video. Quentin's actually, if anybody ever has seen those robo cameras that are above baskets, Quentin runs those. Very talented. And Quentin said it was the day that sports stood still. That's what it felt like. It did feel like that, Devin. I agree with you. Diana says, wonder if facilities are open for football guys to continue working out, etc. So team activities have a moratorium through March 29th. Whether or not the U of O continues to stay open from a business standpoint, more info on that I think is still to come. For now, the U of O is still open. For example, I'm still here at work, sitting inside the Casanova Center. Jerry, though, I love what you're saying here. Like 9/11, we'll get through this too. I'm with you. I agree wholeheartedly. So again, if you're just joining us, a moratorium on Oregon athletic events and team activities through March 29th, and then Ducks are going to evaluate, gather information, and decide what to do moving forward. There is ticket refund info on GoDucks.com. There is tons of information to unpack from the NCAA, and I don't think we're even going to have all that information probably until next week or later. I do want to get an update that there is no stream for the 2 o'clock press conference with Coach Altman and Coach Graves, but it will be on the GoDucks YouTube channel immediately following, and we will have it for you on Duck Insider to unpack everything. Shifting gears a little bit away from Oregon athletics, and this is affecting more than just Duck athletic events. This is affecting everything. And some people have been asking, what does it mean for the spring game? So far, no change. We don't know yet. The Pac-12 has suspended activities until further notice, but the team activities moratorium means that the Ducks will evaluate on March 29th. The spring game is still a few weeks out from that. We'll see. I think everyone just keep your patience on that one because we don't know yet. But from Tracktown USA, I want to read a statement about the Olympic trials. Below is a statement from Tracktown USA CEO Michael Riley regarding the impact of the coronavirus on preparations for hosting the 2020 U.S. Olympic trials for track and field. Said, quote, "We take the safety and security of those participating in and attending our events very seriously. The Public Safety Committee for our local organizing committee is comprised of experts from relevant government agencies at the city, county, state, and federal levels. As part of their normal protocol, they are closely monitoring the spread of COVID-19 based on the information and policy guidance provided to us by these entities, as well as conversations with our partners at USA Track and Field and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. The 2020 Olympic trials is proceeding as planned." Again, I want to read that part again. The 2020 Olympic trials is proceeding as planned. We will continue to monitor the situation with these organizations. However, due to the rapidly changing nature of the situation, I wanted to share the following updates. Again, this from Tracktown USA CEO Michael Riley. We are postponing the release of additional ticket inventory that was scheduled for March 16th. We are communicating regularly with the public safety professionals and our partners at USATF, that's USA Track and Field, and the USOPC. Should the event be canceled, our policy will be to refund customers who have purchased tickets. This is available on the Go Tracktown USA Twitter account if you want to read it, if you missed some of what I'm talking about. Continuing and finishing up the statement, updates will continue to be posted to tracktown20.com and usatf.org as the situation develops. Thank you for your understanding and patience as we work to protect the safety and health of everyone involved in the 2020 U.S. Olympic Team Trials Track and Field. That's a statement from Tracktown USA CEO Michael Riley regarding the impact of the coronavirus, COVID-19. And again, for now, the 2020 Olympic trials proceeding as planned, but some changes, and you can find all that info on Go Tracktown USA on Twitter. You can read the full statement there. We will take a quick time out. When we come back, talk a little bit more about this unprecedented time. We're going to thank some of our seniors. And also, Pro Day was yesterday. Justin Herbert threw a ball 62 yards flat-footed. We can still have some good things to talk about here on the show, right? When we come back, we're going to hear from Justin Herbert on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
The game clock is winding down, and so is that plate of piping hot steak nachos. Your eyes are on the last play, but they're also on that last chip, piled high with succulent steak, lending its deep flavor to all the fixins. Just as you reach in, so does your buddy. Game on. Beef, it's what's for dinner.
Brought to you by the Ranchers and Farmers of Oregon and the Beef Checkoff.
Every stage of life brings something new. Your first real job unlocks a world of financial possibilities and maybe a need for a great rewards credit card. A baby on the way could mean that a new home is more important than ever, but it'll take the right home loan to get there. When retirement suddenly shifts from someday to someday soon, don't panic. On Point Community Credit Union can help. For the new, for the now, and for what's next. On Point is here for every age and every stage of life. Join in. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
please be done.
Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too. Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. A lot to still unpack here on the program. If you're just joining us, a moratorium on Oregon athletic team events through March 29th. After that, I think there's going to be some more clarity on what's going to happen around the sporting landscape. And Devin asks a very good question. Are they still going to release National Basketball Awards? I don't know the answer to that yet. To be honest with you, it would surprise me if they don't. I think that, okay, so for example, let's unpack that before we talk a little bit of Pro Day. The AP today, Ralph Russo, great writer for the Associated Press, he had an article today talking with NCAA Vice President of Men's Basketball, Dan Gavitt. He told the AP, Dan Gavitt did, that they initially did start to look at ways of doing a smaller tournament, if you will. And by smaller tournament, it could have been something that is like a 16-team tournament that the selection committee would have selected, and then they would have played it over an extended weekend. So the NCAA was looking at different ways to still have these sorts of events. And I don't think that the possibility of doing a 68-team bracket is ruled out. My question would be, maybe that's a little salt on the wound. If you're going to do a 68-team bracket just so everybody can see what it would have looked like, and then we're never going to get a chance to play it out. I mean, that's like playing the first level of a video game and then never knowing the ending, like having it just taken away from you. You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's just my thought. I'd be curious to know what fans would think of that. Would you want to see what the bracket would have looked like? And then we can all sit here and talk about bracketology that we'll never have an answer to. I'll say this. I mean, my bracket would stay perfect. For the first time ever, everybody would actually have a perfect bracket, which would be nice. The reason I bring all that up, though, Devin asks a very poignant question. Will they still release National Basketball Awards? I will be surprised if they don't. That's just my opinion. We'll see, but I would be surprised if they don't release national awards. And, you know, hey, that is another way to thank these athletes, right? And especially at Oregon, man. Peyton Pritchard's up for all these national awards. Sabrina Ionescu's up for all these national awards. Ruthie Hebert, Satu Sabla, everybody's up for all these national awards. It sure would be cool to see that. So I would be surprised if that doesn't happen. Please keep your questions coming. I will do my best. Look, in a situation like this, I'm going to do everything that I can to not say something false. I don't want to say anything that doesn't represent the way the university is going. But I will do my best to answer those sorts of questions as best to my ability. And again, as things I think continue, and we've all had some time to kind of process what's happened, we will spend a lot of time on this show just being the, frankly, escape that sports is. We're going to do that over the next few weeks. And, you know, hey, look, everybody probably saw, too, Taylor Chavez tweeted, like, why don't we just get the top 4 teams together in a gym on our own and forget everything else and we'll just go play it out? Honestly, but see, the thing that's so cool about that, and I really appreciate Taylor's message there, why are we all sports fans and why is it an escape in the first place? You know why we're all sports fans? Because we all remember playing catch with our mom or dad in our backyard when we were kids, and we remember how much fun pickup games with our friends are. That would be the most sports, just like in its purest form, that we could ever imagine, is what Taylor Chavez is talking about in her tweet of, let's just go get the top 4 teams from women's basketball. We go find a gym somewhere and we just play. I mean, sure. That's what this is all about. All this other stuff in mind, that's why we love sports. And that's what we're going to, I think, be celebrating and talking about over the next few weeks, while there aren't new athletic events to talk about. Also of note, Vicky Strand from Oregon Events just sent me this at the Prefontaine Classic track meet suspends ticket sales because of the coronavirus. That's the latest as well on the Prefontaine Classic. So, yeah, there's tons going on. Basically, I would say every event scheduled within the next month, you're going to see suspensions. The Masters today, we know, is suspended now. Yeah, that's just the way that these things are going to go. This is the hard part, though. Thank you to the seniors. Magical season, and it's always going to be the what-if season for women's basketball, men's basketball, and all the spring sports. Man, I'm glad that the NCAA is doing what they can with all the details, again, still to be worked out. I'm glad that the NCAA is going to give eligibility relief to those spring season athletes. What all that means moving forward, I think that there's still a lot more to unpack in the coming weeks. The Oregon football practice in Hillsboro, of course, canceled with the moratorium. Pac-12 competition is suspended indefinitely in a moratorium on Oregon team activities until March 29th. Pro Day was yesterday, though. And, guys, I got to tell you, seeing Justin Herbert throw a ball flat-footed 62 yards, I was just like, what? What? That's crazy. And that's still the magic that we can at least live a little bit here in sports. Tobias is joining the show latest. Kelly Graves released any statements. Coach Graves is talking with the media at 2 o'clock today. You can find it on the Goducks YouTube channel as soon as they wrap up that press conference, and we will have it on the show on Monday when we're back after what is going to feel like the longest weekend of my life. Justin Herbert talked to the media, though, after Pro Day yesterday. Again, this was before the moratorium on Oregon athletics was issued, but Justin Herbert talked about the future of the NFL and also the pink elephant in the room, what's going on with the coronavirus around the world. Justin Herbert talked to the media yesterday.
Justin, I'm sure you've thought about this day for a long time, but was it kind of surreal with all the events going on the outside?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough situation, but to be here and to be able to compete is a great honor, and got to be out here with Jake Breen and Charles Nelson, all those guys, and a bunch of the guys that I played with. So a cool experience, and hopefully everyone comes out of it safely.
How do you feel like you did?
I thought it was a good day. Definitely things that I could have improved, balls that I'd like back, but I thought overall it was a good day.
When the footwork was something you wanted to focus on in particular throughout this whole process, how do you feel you are with it?
Yeah, I think under center is definitely something, especially prior to these first 3 months, I've never really taken a snap from under center, so it's something I've been working on and something I've been focusing on, and I felt like it was much improved over these past couple months.
Juwan said your velocity might have improved. You said that was kind of hard to believe. You agree with that? You think your arm strength maybe gotten a little better?
I would hope so. I think it's a compliment from him, but I think it's just a lot of work that we put in over these past couple months, and always getting better.
What has this whole process been like? Is it kind of how you imagine it, or has it been?
It's flown by. It's been a lot of fun. It's been busy, and it's been an experience for sure, and it's not something that too many people get to go through. So I've tried to enjoy as much as I can, get better, and just do my best.
Just as someone who was around those other teams during your time here, men's and women's basketball aren't going to be able to compete in the postseason. Just knowing those guys like you do, what do you think they're going through?
It's such a tough situation, and especially for some of those seniors who decided to come back and forego going into the professional leagues. To not get this opportunity, it's devastating for them, and my deepest sympathies to them and everything they're going through, because if that were to happen to us, that'd definitely be a tough situation.
What was it like to see when they're having their success? All of you guys went undefeated at home this year. I'm not sure that's ever been done before, ever. Just to see that done.
Yeah, it's really cool, and especially to be a part of that class. Sabrina and Peyton Pritchard both came into the 2016 class, and to be able to support them, be there for them, it's definitely tough. But I know that they've got many days of playing basketball ahead of them, and whatever happens, they're going to do their best, and their class acts.
What's next for you, Justin, as far as I was asking Juwan? Have you been advised, I don't realize the last 48 hours have been insane for everybody, but have you been advised right now to not take any visits outside of here? A lot of people have been. I'm asking, what's the advice to you right now?
I think a lot's changed since we've been out here, so I'm sure as soon as I go back to my phone and get to talk to some of the people that are influencing me, I would say that they'd probably advise that, and I don't know at this point, but it's something that I'll probably think about these next couple of days and figure out.
Even before all this kind of started taking place, had you thought about attending the draft or watching from home, or had you even thought about that?
I honestly hadn't thought about that, and that's something that going forward we'll definitely think about, and very tough circumstances, but as more information comes, we'll make a decision.
It was like throwing Charles Nelson again.
It's cool. It's got to throw with him. Actually, the past couple of years he's come back, so got to spend some time with him, and he's a really athletic guy, and he's a guy that we missed these past 2 years, so it was good to see him again.
Yeah, that was cool that Charles Nelson was at Oregon Pro Day yesterday, and Justin Herbert did get the chance to throw to him. That was awesome to see that. I want to take time out. When we come back, Lamar Winston had some emotional things to say about all the news around over the last few days. We're going to do that and wrap up Duck Insider next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Dear savvy shoppers, ready, set, go, and save big on a new Toyota like RAV4, Camry, and Tacoma right now. Visit your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com for more information. See you soon. Toyota, let's go places.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, it starts with the golf and turns into a lifetime of memories. Shadow Hills Country Club provides a peaceful, natural setting with a standard of excellence in course conditions in any weather that is unsurpassed in the entire Willamette Valley. With a championship course, an expansive practice facility and clubhouse, fine dining, and a swimming pool, Shadow Hills Country Club offers the amenities of a family resort just minutes from downtown Eugene. Shadow Hills Country Club. Call us today.
Dear savvy shoppers, ready, set, go, and save big on a new Toyota like RAV4, Camry, and Tacoma right now. Visit your local Toyota dealer or visit Toyota.com for more information. See you soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
My name is Bobby. I'm a veteran and lost my leg to a roadside bomb. My victory was going from a wheelchair to becoming a weightlifting champion.
I'm Sam. I'm a veteran. My victory was finding a career that I could be proud of.
At DAV, we're on a mission, helping veterans of all generations get the benefits they've earned.
I'm Cece. My victory was finishing my education.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
When severe weather causes telecom network outages, the FCC recommends that you call 911 only when necessary and limit non-emergency calls. Avoid repetitive redialing to minimize network congestion. Try texting if a call doesn't go through. Conserve cell phone power and turn off your phone when not in use. If evacuated, forward landline calls to your cell phone and use your outgoing message to update your status. For more info, go to fcc.gov/emergency.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Today's show brought to you by Bimart, employee-owned, real value every day. I know a lot of people wondering about what's going to happen. Well, we don't know, unfortunately, but I can tell you this. My plan, until told otherwise, is Scott Phillips and I are going to still be here doing the show. We got a lot of great things to celebrate at Oregon. We're going to try and probably talk to some coaches. We'll continue to talk with people like Rob Mullins, who are obviously decision makers and influencers in all this. We'll unpack what the NCAA is going to do with a lot of different things to discuss. And we're going to try and push on. And, you know, I'll be honest, I'm just going to share this with all of you because, frankly, I don't know what else to say in a moment like this. We've even been talking about, like, do we keep doing the show from my den at home? And, you know, I think that's one, I'm going to say I'm proud to be part of a team that wants to do that. Two, I think that everybody needs that. We need to return to a little bit of normalcy at some point once it's safe to do so. We're going to try and do that on the show. And with that in mind, Lamar Winston, who is one of the best interviews we've had with Oregon football over the last few years, Lamar Winston did talk to the media after his pro day about all things. Again, this was before the moratorium was issued this morning, but the Ducks did talk about their pro potential and also some pretty emotional stuff from Lamar Winston about what it means for some of these athletes who had their seasons abruptly ended. Lamar Winston.
I'm blessed. How are you?
Another day.
Another day.
Probably not the scene you expected.
No.
For a pro day under everything else that's going on, how are you able to just focus on what's going on here?
You know, just competing against the drill, really, just trying to focus in on making sure that I'm honed in on myself and my craft and making sure that I'm just focused on myself and my keys and stuff. It's really definitely hard being in that fishbowl for sure, but it's almost like a game.
Was there ever any talk of this being canceled because of everything going on?
See, if there was, then I was not included in that conversation, thankfully, because if they would tell me that this day wasn't going on, I would have been a bit frustrated. But I'm thankful. We're here. It's finished. It was a great day. Yeah.
How do you think you did today?
I think I did all right. I mean, I think there was a lot of things that I felt like I really wanted to go back and improve, but that's the joy of being an athlete. You know, you're never the best version of yourself. That's why you keep working to get better. So
what were some of those things?
I think really really just flipping my hips, really coming out of my hips. I felt good, but I want to be better. I felt good coming out of the blocks in the 40, but I want to be better. There's a bunch of stuff that I really think that in order to be a great football player, you got to smooth out those movements, make it fluent.
You were here for 4 years, the other athletes pretty well, just to see, the men's and women's basketball teams not be able to, do what you guys did and finish the season. What do you think about that? And
as a competitor and as an athlete, it hurts my heart, I know, I don't personally know for their teams, but specifically related to our team, I know the work that we put in. I know the tears, the blood, the sweat that we put in order to get to that game. They get there, just the next game mentality. And so for them to put in all that work, be so successful, and then end like this, it's unfortunate and it's sad to see. As an athlete, as a competitor, I know they're passionate about it. So now it's just, man, it's unfortunate. But as long as they're safe, happy that they're safe.
What kind of feedback did you get during the
Feedback as in what? Those meetings were actually good. I mean, it felt good to get a better understanding of, where I feel like I would fit in on the team, or where I feel like I would fit in on what I could do, what I could contribute. Better yet, just getting a better feel of where I should be improving at and stuff like that. And I feel like I still got a lot of time to do so. So I'm going to continue doing that.
What do you want your role to be in the NFL? If you get that opportunity, are you telling guys you're a wide nine?
I want to be the best glue guy I can be. Similar to what I did for our team. I mean, I played outside linebacker, I played middle linebacker, I played end, I played all special teams, 1 through 4. Anything I can do, I'm a competitor. I compete. I'm here every day to compete. So if I can compete every day and get my teammates better, I'm sure I'll get better, and we'll keep progressing in that way.
I love that from Lamar Winston. It's just kind of a return to normalcy with Pro Day yesterday, and it might be the last live sporting event that a lot of us talk about for a while. What that means moving forward, I don't know yet. We're going to all figure that out together. And I can tell you that I'm not the only person who feels that way. And it's not just here on Duck Insider and our crew. It's everywhere. So sports is a small part of this. I want to end the show with that. Sports is a very, very small part of this. But it is a reflection of how society is changing and is impacted by what's happening. And frankly, I think it's a direct reflection of how much it's impacting the economy. I want to say to all of my friends that work in broadcast, a lot of people probably don't know this, many of those people are independent contractors. They work as freelancers, working for different broadcast crews. I really feel for all of you. And if we can help, we're going to. We're going to still have a show to talk about all of that and still have some good things to talk about. Next week, we're going to spend a lot of time celebrating some seasons that have now abruptly come to an end, thanking some seniors. We'll answer all of your questions, unpack what's going on with the NCAA. And, guys, I'll tell you what. You know what I'm going to do on Sunday? I'm actually going to make Thanksgiving dinner. I didn't get a chance to have a Thanksgiving because I was with basketball in the Bahamas, so I figure, well, now seems like a good time to give thanks and do that. We'll see you on Monday. Have a good weekend.
I am a Senior Corps RSVP volunteer.
I build homes and young minds.